Alright my peeps, what you're watching right now is the prediction game video for Del Rio versus Big Show for the World Heavyweight Championship, a match you're going to see this Sunday at the Elimination Chamber. This is their third championship match. First one, you had Big Show as the champion, and the two previous ones, Del Rio. Well, actually, the previous one was Del Rio as the champion. This is the second one with Del Rio as the champion. Now, I want to point something out here. Why is it that the first two championship matches were last man standing matches? So, pretty entertaining matches, no disqualification, weapons are allowed, you can use whatever. But now the third match, which is most likely the last match between the two for the championship, is a normal match. To me, that's just, it's like a downgrade. How do you go from two last man standing matches to just a normal, regular matchup? I feel that the first championship matches should have been maybe a normal match. Maybe the second one could be no disqualification. And then this one could have been the last man standing match. But instead, it went from, no rules, no disqualification to just a regular, normal matchup. So yeah, it's unusual, I'd say. Usually it's the opposite, where you start with a normal match, and then the stakes are higher, it's more extreme and stuff like that. Well, whatever. And also, I really do hope this is the end of the Del Rio and Big Show feud. Well, actually, it's pretty much guaranteed that it is, seeing as how they are going to determine a new challenger for the world title, at the Elimination Chamber. Now, if Big Show were to win this matchup, then Del Rio would be entitled to a rematch. And then, I guess, they could have a triple threat match at WrestleMania with Big Show as champion versus Del Rio versus whoever wins the Elimination Chamber match. But the thing is, I don't think Big Show's going to win here. I really don't think the Big Show's going to win. But you never know, really. I mean, I didn't think Big Show would have won the world title when he faced off against Mark Henry in that chairs match. I also didn't think Big Show would have won the world title when he faced off against Sheamus. But Big Show did win the world title on both those occasions. By the way, it just seems like Big Show's been in the world title picture for too long right now. In these world title matches, on pay-per-view, for way too long. In the beginning it was against Sheamus. He beat Sheamus, got a bunch of rematch with Sheamus for the world title. And now with Del Rio, they've had a bunch of matches. So hopefully after this Sunday, Big Show can move on to other opponents, other things, while Del Rio can move on to new challengers. So anyways, before I get down to why I think Del Rio is going to win the matchup, I want to actually talk about reasons why I think Big Show won't win this matchup. So let's assume Big Show actually wins the match this Sunday, becomes the new world champion. Now let's look at the possible challengers Big Show could face at WrestleMania. Looking at the list of the participants in the Elimination Chamber matchup. So right off the bat though, I'm going to take out Kane and Daniel Bryan, simply because I really don't think Daniel Bryan or Kane are going to win this matchup. So I'm just going to go over Randy, Swagger, Chris Jericho, and Mark Henry here. So let's start off with Randy Orton. He's actually a possibility. Big Show versus Randy could work. You've got Big Show the heel, Randy the face, so it could work. But the thing is, here's the thing with Randy, and I forgot to mention this in the actual Elimination Chamber simulation video, where I went into more detail. I actually wanted to talk more about why I think this guy could win or this guy could not win, especially when it comes to Randy. When it comes to Randy, the thing is, I don't think he's going to be in the world title match, whether it be Del Rio as the champion or Big Show as the champion, just because if Randy is in the world title match, then that leaves Sheamus, what does Sheamus do? Because I'm pretty sure Randy is supposed to face Sheamus, or is going to face Sheamus. If both guys are not in a title match, it would make sense to put them in a one-on-one match, and from there turn Randy heel or remain face or whatever. But I'm pretty sure if they do have Sheamus versus Randy, then Randy's gonna turn heel at some point in the storyline or in the feud. But if Randy, wins the Elimination Chamber match and faces either Del Rio or Big Show, so in this case, let's say Big Show, then what does Sheamus do? What's Sheamus gonna do? Who's he gonna face off against at WrestleMania? Pretty much leave Sheamus without anything to do, unless they put him in like a tag team match or a multi-person match or something like that. So anyways, let's move on to another competitor here, Jack Swagger. Well, actually, no, Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho, it could also work. Actually, you know what? When you think about it, Chris Jericho versus Big Show would make a lot more sense than Randy Orton versus the Big Show. I mean, they even teased it on SmackDown. Chris Jericho and the Big Show were tag team champions for a good while, dominant tag team champions. In my opinion, one of the greatest tag teams of recent history. It was a seriously entertaining tag team. You had Jericho in the beginning when they won the titles. I was happy that Jericho, was holding gold. They was a tag team champion, but I wasn't too sure about Big Show being his partner. But then, I loved it. Big Show as his partner, Jericho would hide behind Big Show and stuff like that. I like the tag team and them facing off, kind of maybe to determine who was the better part of the tag team, who was the better wrestler of the tag team, or the better superstar or whatever. It actually wouldn't be that bad. I actually wouldn't be, bored with that. I would actually maybe enjoy Big Show versus Chris Jericho for the World Heavyweight Championship for WrestleMania if they refer to their previous days as tag team champions. Thing is, though, I just can't see Big Show, walking out of Elimination Chamber as the new champion. But like I said, if he does walk out, of the Elimination Chamber as champion, I would definitely want to see Chris Jericho versus Big Show. And if he does walk out as champion, that's probably the matchup we're gonna see. But then you've also got to think of Dolph Ziggler when you're talking about Chris Jericho at this moment. You kind of also have to talk about Dolph Ziggler, who kind of wants to outdo Jericho, so maybe if Jericho wins the Elimination Chamber match, Dolph Ziggler then cashes in on the Big Show. But then that would just complicate things. You'd have Jericho versus Dolph versus Jericho at WrestleMania. Jericho versus Big Show versus Dolph at WrestleMania. So, yeah, I can't see Big Show walking out. So, right away, I'm going to tell you, Mark Henry, Jack Swagger. Both those guys are heels, so, can't see Big Show versus Jack Swagger at WrestleMania, or Big Show versus Mark Henry at WrestleMania, since they're both heels. Maybe if Mark Henry returned as a face, then maybe that could happen, but he didn't. So, pretty much what I'm trying to say is, I'm pretty sure that Del Rio is walking out of the Elimination Chamber as the champion. With Del Rio as champion, there's a lot more possibilities of the world title match at WrestleMania. He could face Jack Swagger, he could face Mark Henry, he could face Chris Jericho, maybe Randy. But the thing with Randy is, I don't think they would put Del Rio versus like a bigger face than him, like Randy, just because they're trying to put Del Rio over, and I think the fans would cheer Orton over Del Rio. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, as always, you can click that like button. I'd really appreciate it. Really helps me out. Let's try and make these Elimination Chamber prediction videos the highest rated ones yet. With that said, I'm out, guys. See ya.